Greetings. Welcome to Growth Hacking Show, where we have guests from all around the world, CEOs, founders, directors of the companies, and serial entrepreneurs come and share their experiences, how to grow their company, and what type of missteps to avoid, so that way you don't have to pay for those mistakes, so we can learn from our mistakes. In that case, we have a very special guest today. That's outside of my traditional how I bring guests this time, and you can thank me later by watching this one right after this. In case you don't know me, my name is Mohammed Siddique. I am the host of a growth hacking show and the co-author of New Success Secrets books available on Amazon. Why I'm telling you all this, why is this different guest this time? Because, to grow a company, mostly when I speak to CEOs and founders, they say, we are doing this, I am doing this. Reality is, he's not doing himself. You know that too, because they have a big team, and within the team, the different divisions of the company, there's a one division that is responsible for pre-sales and sell more to the existing customers. Pre-sale is the hardest job, in case you will be agreeing right after this, because pre-sales, they don't know you, they don't trust you on anything, they don't even know that you have the solution for them yet. And the sales cycle starts from suspect. They don't know you, they're suspecting everybody, and they're looking for something. Now they're a prospect because they give you name and email and phone number to talk to. Now they're lead, you're working with them to actually make a sale. The moment you make the sale and CEO says, here's my best director in the company who's generating all these sales. The reality is that before you see the credit card or invoice generated for the client, there are so many steps, and it's a very unknown territory almost, and you are dealing with strangers every day and virtually every other phone call. And many people are not comfortable in that one. For that purpose, I go to my special guest today, and he is the master of this, because he is a director of pre-sales of managing of a $250 million company. His division is responsible for $50 million sales, 50. I think we can learn thing or two from him. So please join me to give a warm welcome to Dominic Telaro. He is the director of pre-sales, and in the division of Fullscope as Alithya company based in Alpharetta, Georgia. I'm in Swanee. You know that we are not too far from each other. In fact, we are going to meet definitely someday very soon, where he is going to buy me a Starbucks coffee. Okay, Dominic, welcome. And I'm really looking forward to this, excited.
Well, thank you for the invitation, first of all, to come on. I really appreciate that. And I hope that I've got the answers that people will be interested in as we go forward in the conversation.
Definitely. Hey, Dominic, let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who you were surrounded with that inspired you to get into this pre-sales, like working in the unknown territories to become the master of this?
Well, years ago, my background is all manufacturing and distribution, and I worked in the manufacturing industry, and I was an executive there, and that was the paper industry at the time. We were invited to go for a demo at a computer software company. And when we walked in during the demo, it became evident that the people that were doing the presentation did not understand the product and the need that we had. So what we did is I took my team and I said, thank you very much, but you do not have the solution I'm looking for. And we went back to the office. I got a phone call from the president of that company asking me to come and meet with him that evening, which I wasn't planning on doing, but I eventually did. He convinced me, he wore me down. Good salesman, by the way. He convinced me, wore me down. I went to meet with him, and we sat down, and they asked me to basically come on board and build a new hybrid ERP system for them based on my knowledge of the industry and so forth. And when I got involved in that, I realized that the best way to be able to do that was to be involved in the discovery aspect of an opportunity, to talk to the users of the systems, the subject matter experts, to sit down and understand not only how they're working today, but where they're going to go tomorrow, what their visions are. And that's something that you pick up during the pre-sales, and you need to convince the prospect that you understand and you are able to show them a solution and therefore bring it to fruition, to a sale. So that's how I got started in that. And that was quite a few years ago. That was about 26 years ago. And I've been doing it since then.
Yeah, that's amazing, and we are ready to take your wisdoms and gems from you. So, based on your experience working in a pre-sale and most of the time generating like a sales, working in unknown territory, what are the top three missteps the salespeople do that really stops them to actually make a sale?
Well, one of the things that we're talking about sales and pre-sales. So one of the things that we have to be very aware of is salespeople are in there to make a sale, and they're going to be discussing the commercial side of things and so forth. And they tend to get very bogged down on the commercial side, and many times they're dealing with a CFO because it's dollars, and CIO to justify the dollars. On the pre-sale side, we're dealing with the CFO, the CEO, the CIO, the shop floor manager, the employee on the Amada machine that's producing products and so forth, to understand how it works. We're looking at the flows and so forth. So it's important that we separate to a certain extent the sales process and then make sure that it all comes together so that when we do a presentation between the commercial side and the discussions that took place between the sales and the C-level folks and the actual product side and solution that we bring to the table, that they all mesh together as one and everything makes sense to the customer. Sometimes we tend to forget that, and it creates an issue where we're in there just for the sake of change. Companies don't want just the sake of change because it disrupts their business. They want a solution. A solution is acceptable to create change. Change for the sake of change is not acceptable in the company because it destroys their rhythm. And as bad as the system as they have today could be, it's still getting them where they are. Now they need something to get somewhere else. So avoid just disruptions and so forth. The other important thing is to make sure that you and the customer avoid the concept of fool's gold. In other words, be very clear, be very succinct. Do not present something that is not achievable, either with the customer or with the pre-sales people, the company that's trying to make the sale. One of the things that a lot of companies will do is they'll go in there and they'll talk about the requirements and the number of people that are going to be here and doing that and doing this and so forth. The pre-sales person, before the deal is actually closed, is already having discussions with the team that's going to come in here and do the implementation. With that team, we start talking about the capabilities, both resource-wise, and the resources go to human resources as well as machine resources, as well as space resources, as well as dollar resources. And the understanding of the issues that the prospect has and the results, the solutions that we gave them, that they are comfortable with and they've accepted. And if we do our job well, there's actually a sign off on the side of the customer. So it's extremely important that we don't come in promising fool's gold, and it's extremely important for the company that we're selling to not to think that way as well, because the competition wants to win, and they may want to win at all costs. So it's important that we always point out, this is what you wanted, this is the solution, this is nowhere near there. This is not something that you want to achieve or are interested in. So let's not go that way. And by the way, if we tell you it's going to cost so much, we show you why. Don't accept somebody else for less and then they don't show it to you, because then you have a problem. You will not be able to connect, you will not be able to implement, and you'll have wasted millions of dollars and also the market that you're in. That's extremely important. Also, it's important that we avoid stagnation during the sales cycle. It always needs to move forward. Pre-sales needs to ensure that that keeps moving forward, that they keep presenting the proper solution, that they don't get sidetracked or decide that this part of the sale is more important than that part, because that's not true. In the sale, there's probably going to be about 60 people you have to convince. Well, what's important to one person is not important to the other. So if you stagnate in one area and you've got all those people there, you lose the interest and the attention of some of the other participants that are going to be making the decision. Now, they're not necessarily going to sign, but there are influencers. That's why they're in the meeting. So bear in mind, they're there. Do not stagnate. Do not stay on one subject for too long. Make sure that when you're finished, they agree that you're finished. Get their acceptance that, okay, you've answered it. That's the answer we were looking for. that's acceptable to us, then move on. That's how you avoid stagnation. Because sometimes you get so involved in an item, in an issue, that you forget to move on. You try to get deeper and deeper and deeper, and that creates a problem, not just for that specific presentation, but for the whole process, by slowing it down, by people going, oh, well, you know, I didn't quite get it. Let's start over again. We have to bring these people in again. They're going to have to fly in. And everything slows down because they can't come next week. They can only come in 3 weeks. And now the process is stagnating, slowing down, and the decision-making has to almost start from the beginning all over again.
That's a great wisdom. Thank you, Dominic. That prompted me to ask something right from the answers. I kind of follow-up question to this. You know, there's always, when it comes to presentation, there's always a one in the room. There's one person who will ask you so many questions. They want to probably get noticed by their boss or promotions due, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. And as the same person keep asking that questions, now you're focused on that one topic that's you know, helping you to, because total time is already allocated 1 hour, 2 hour, whatever that is. Mm-hmm. So now you're really dragging into more deep into that, you know, and you can't ignore their questions. How you deal with that situation? Because you have to move along, as you said, at the same time. You have to make them happy. If you kind of brush them off, that's not good too either. So how do you do that?
Yeah, you can't brush anybody off because you never know who you're brushing off.
Yeah.
For all you know, it may be the CEO's wife. That's not good. So it's important that you answer everybody's questions. However, if you stick to an agenda, and that's important, before you go into a meeting, always present the agenda and the time that's allotted to it, so that everybody understands that it has to be done within 8 hours, day 1, 5 hours, day 2, whatever it is that's allotted to the demo, because it could be multiple days. So what you need to do at that point, we always have a team. I'm always there with one of my pre-sales directors that works for me, that are actually doing the demo and understand the product and show the answers. And I'm there to keep it moving, to do the industry relationship and so forth. So what happens if somebody gets into it too deep, I will usually step up, or a salesman, you know, will step up and say, look, we're starting to run out of time and we still need to go through all this. Your questions are amazing. We can either put them on the parking lot and we can go back to it afterwards, time permitting. We can set up another call, and we could do it remotely because we don't have to all be in the room. Or at the end of the presentation, during the break or something, we can get together and we can go over it individually till you're satisfied with the answer.
Oh, that's amazing. That's a really golden nuggets, you know. So thank you. So I learned, Dominic, this one as a refresher course from you. So now let's move on to the next thing. So what are the top 3 success secrets to create like a magnet sales based on your experience, you know?
Well, first off is you have to exude not arrogance, but confidence, positive winning attitude. When you go and you sit down and you start doing discovery, because you could lose at discovery. You don't even have to get to pre-sales and show the presentation. You can lose at discovery. So you have to walk in, you have to show that you're confident, you are a winner, you understand what their issues are. As you ask the questions, as you take a walk through the environment, look at it, ask questions about the environment, say, we have a solution for something over here, and this is how it might work, without getting into the details, just making sure that they understand that. You cannot be arrogant. Arrogance does not go well, especially with subject matter experts. And I know, because I was on the other side. I started off on the shop floor in the steel industry and ended up in the executive offices. And many a times we had consultants come in and they walk in and they have the answer. Well, how can you have the answer? You don't know my business. It's true, you don't. So walk in, make them feel like you know what you're talking about by asking the right questions. Avoid sounding overconfident, but show confidence. Do not make them feel bad by saying, oh, you guys totally missed the ball on something. You know, it really is this simple, because you've just insulted half the people that are there. And that's not the way you want to move forward. So that was the first thing that I had to learn as I walked in there. The advantage I had is I'd been on the other side and I knew exactly how it felt. So it made it easier for me. Secondly, I looked at certain things like when you're in pre-sales, it's easy to lose your focus. When you're in pure sales, you know what your focus is. It's commercial. You got to close the deal. So you're focusing on that. You're negotiating and so forth. When you're in pre-sales, you're looking at the business. You're looking at the issues. You're looking at the solutions. And then you're looking at how you're going to integrate all that together in order to be able to show them that you have a solution from here to here. We're in the ERP world, so we got to have a solution for the whole company. We're not there just for scheduling. We're not there just for financial. We're there for the whole company, the whole division, globally in some cases. So we have to be able to take all of that into account. It's easy to lose focus during those conversations, during the presentations, during the discussions by putting too much onus on something, or what do they say? It's like a dog that sees a squirrel. You're training them, and all of a sudden, oops, squirrel, and they take off and go the other way. Same thing can happen in pre-sales. So it's important to keep that focus, because the more you focus, the more the customer feels comfortable that you're going to help them focus, because they can easily get the squirrel syndrome. An opportunity comes in, and the next thing they know is, oh, we're going to put all this on hold because we have one opportunity. Well, is that a real opportunity? Do you really want to lose the investment you've made? Do you really want to give up on your future just because of something like that? I'm just using that as an example. Focus is extremely important, and I had to learn to do that because I have the squirrel syndrome. So I have to make sure that I control myself and always bring me back. So lastly, I guess if I were to look at it, is consistency. I've been in the industry for a long time. People know me. They know I'm an industry expert. I do a lot of speaking engagements. I write a lot of blogs and all that kind of stuff. I've kept myself consistent for all of them. So when they see me and they hear of me and they look in my background, they're not surprised. That's who he is. He knows the industry he's talking about. I can trust him. And his reputation is such that nobody is saying anything negative about him. And when you're in the industry after a short period of time, you'll realize that this is not that big an industry. And your reputation, if you steer somebody wrong, we'll follow you. And that's all we have is our reputation. Either people trust us and believe us, what we say is correct, we know what we're doing, we do it right. And if we don't, tarnishes our reputation. Well, I have nothing else. I don't manufacture. I don't, people listen to me. They either trust me or they don't. So it's important for me to make sure that I am consistent, that I give them the answers that I believe are the right answers. Because even if it may be wrong, if you believe it and you can explain it, they can understand it and correct you, and you can make that correction and move forward. So that's extremely important as well.
Thank you, Dominic. We really appreciate that. You gave us like your decades of experience of the top three things. That's very cooked on a plate. Now we just need to use it. Stay focused. No overconfidence. So be confident. Overconfident. There's a big line between overconfidence and being confident. And if you're confused yourself, guess what? Customer is already confused. That's not going to happen. So you have to be very delicate balance of how you kind of show up at your place. Thank you. So how Alithya, and especially your Fullscope, your division, you're growing your responsibility right now in this economy.
How are we growing them?
Right now. No.
Right now. What we're doing right now is obviously I have a team that reports to me, which is responsible for business development. So we have a team out there that's, making sure that we're in contact, people know who we are, follows up with opportunities and leads, nurtures them to bring them to the right level. We have a very strong marketing team that's out there and involved in, putting our information out there, making sure our website is up to date, that we are responding to the latest that's going on in the industry. And of course, we do a lot of presentations and participate in many industry shows in order to communicate to people that we are there, we have a solution, and it's been working very well for us because the company has been doing very well and growing steadily year over year. So that's important.
That is great. That's great. So, Dominic, how the Growth Hacking Show community, people who are watching this right now, how they can support you and your company?
Well, for one thing, they can say they really liked this podcast and they let other people know so that a lot of people get to hear about Fullscope. and Alithya. And secondly, that they give us a call. We don't mind receiving a call and talking to them and answering questions. It doesn't necessarily have to be, hey, we've got a sales cycle going. It may be something that they're considering. They have an issue on the shop floor. Their distribution center is having a problem. Give us a call. We'll be more than happy to help you guys. And, visit our website, see what we put there. Give us your opinion, whether we're doing things right or whether you'd like to see us something else on the website. We'd be more than happy to do that. I can blog on, pretty much any subject that's relevant to that, and I would be more than happy to do that as well. So, absolutely.
Thank you. Go ahead and connect with Dominic, so that way on LinkedIn, at least that could be a starting point, and where he can send you some white papers and everything else, blog entries to start getting into the conversation. So, Dominic, in this pre-sale, sometimes it's going very good and it's like you're excited, and sometimes things go not the way we perceived it. Is that right? That's it's like almost like a roller coaster. That's how that area is.
Absolutely.
So, Dominic, here's my almost like a personal question: how you keep going when you are like a down moment? What keeps you going in that one?
Pick the successes, because in pre-sales, because of the product that we have being so big, yes, you're going to have the ups and the downs. Some people are going to love it. Some people are going to hate it. Some people are going to be your friends and they're going to like it and they're going to give you insights. Some people are actually going to put mines in front of you in order to see you explode so they could use something different. And it gets very disappointing when you hit that mine and you didn't realize it was there. So when that happens, just think back on all the people that are actually supporting you in that company, that are providing you the answers, that are working with you during the discovery and the actual pre-sales and the building of the demo, because we do involve our customer. We want to make sure we're going to be demoing what they want to see. And if you do that often enough, instead of wasting your time going, oh, so-and-so really hates us, I don't know how we're going to get over it. You're going to get over it by getting the majority of the votes of the people that are there recommending the software, recommending the solution. So again, back to focus. Focus on those folks. Those folks will put a smile on your face, and they will actually help you avoid the mines. And if you step on one, they'll actually help you come out of it, so you get back on an upswing rather than going even further down. So yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. You did very well on this question. So as that takes me to about to wrap up time. As we are about to wrap up, what would you say as a final word?
Sales is the top line revenue for a company. If you don't get the sales, you're not going to be profitable. You're not going to be doing well in business. The way you get sales is by having a strong pre-sales team that can work well with the prospects, that understands the product, and that represents it well. Build it, work with them, give them the tool they need, and that will give you a huge return on your investment.
Thank you so much, Dominic Telaro, for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of Growth Hacking Show community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. This is Mohammed Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia, wishing you good luck, good sales. I do have a path across again with another amazing guest. Until then, all best wishes.